Hey everybody! Today we are in for a special treat. We're going to make some orange juice cake. This recipe in particular has been in my family for as long as I can remember. It's my grandmother's recipe originally. She'd make it for my grandpa every one of his birthdays. And then my mom makes it all the time too. She makes it for Christmas time, she makes it in the summertime. It's really good anytime because it's cake. I mean, it's cake. So, we're gonna get started with that. I also wanted to say thank you for everybody that watched my first video. I'm really excited to see y'all's rendition of it and what kind of vegetables you use for that pasta. So yeah, let's get started. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna preheat the oven to 350 and then we're gonna get started on this cake mix. You can use a regular yellow cake box mix. That's totally fine. That's what my grandmother used, but I figured since I have the time, I'll just do it from scratch. And so yeah, we're gonna get started with our dry mix. So if you're gonna make your own yellow cake mix, we are gonna use flour, salt, baking powder, and then we're gonna use butter because the box kind that you get at the store actually already has a shortening element to it. So we're gonna use only half of this stick, but you'll wanna put it out a couple hours before we're gonna use it because you want it to be soft, but you just kinda want it to be at room temperature. So what I've already put in here is 2.5 cups of sifted flour. You don't have to sift it, but it does kind of make that bundt cake look a little bit more dense and give that almost pound cake flavor to it because you're just sifting out all those impurities. So I've sifted 2.5 cups of flour. I put in a tablespoon plus a teaspoon of baking powder. I put in one teaspoon of salt, and then I've measured out what we got here. I believe 1.5 cups of white sugar. Sugar. So what we're also going to use for this cake is a vanilla instant pudding. We're not going to use a huge box like this. We're only going to want to use about 3.5 ounces for it. I'll put that in the recipe. And we're gonna use oil and then a cup of orange juice, and that's gonna be our wet ingredients that we're gonna add to our dry ingredients, as well as 4 large eggs. So let's get started. We're gonna want to throw our 4 tablespoons of butter into our mixer first. Remember to keep that paper because we're gonna grease our bundt pan with that later. And we're just gonna throw it in the mixer just so it can kind of get a little bit emulsified before we throw it in with our dry mix. So we're just going to put that on low speed, let that roll around in there for a little bit, and then we're going to grab all of our dry ingredients. Again, I've already threw my salt and my baking powder into my flour, and then I have my sugar here. Pick that up, we're just going to shove that back in there. With my cooking terms, just shove it in there. Okay. We can go ahead and throw in our flour and our sugar. I'm just going to let that roll on low for about 30 seconds. We are going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to add a little bit less because this is the good kind. It's a little bit stronger than what you would get at the store. Just do it while it's mixing. I'm going to add my oil. Starting to make that dough, and then we're going to add 1 cup of orange juice. I got the less sweet kind just because this is already kind of a sweeter cake. So you might want to get the real deal kind of orange juice for this. Whew. Oh wait, forgot. Oh my gosh. Main player, Gargello. Can't forget about her. She's over here at the party. not dance with anybody. I could only find the Giganto box at the store of instant pudding, which is not an issue. We only need 3.5 ounces. I think this is like a 6 ounce like family style pack. So not a problem. I have my kitchen scale here. That's what it's called. So I'm just gonna change this to ounces. Do 3.5. I'm gonna go ahead and add that into my cake mix. All right, okay. Okay, we're getting there. 3 1/8, 3 1/4, 3 3/8. Still 3 3/8, okay. 3.5, cool. So with it still mixing, we're just gonna put in our instant pudding mix. And then with that, we will let it mix for a little bit longer and then we'll throw it into our bundt pan. But before we throw it in there, we'll wanna take that wrapping to our butter and just rub it all around that bundt pan. And then after we do that, sprinkle it with a little bit of sugar. Doing this, I learned this from watching Christina Tosi's live Instagram cooking shows. So shout out to her. She won't watch this, but that's cool. Maybe someday. There we go. So after we do that, we want to take some sugar. We just want to grab some and sprinkle that outside with it. That way you kind of get that candy coating on the outside after it bakes when you flip this pan over. Doesn't take too much, but there we go. Okay, so I took our batter off of the mixer. It's got that really good thickness that you want your cake batter to have. And since it is kind of a bundt cake, pound cake type thing, you want it to be a little bit thicker than what we would normally see for a cake batter. So this is looking really good. It also tastes really good. You know, salmonella is a thing. I know it's a thing. You're not supposed to eat raw eggs, but I haven't died yet, so if I'm not a testimony, then I don't know what is. So we're just gonna pour it into our bundt pan. Try to get it even. All right. Just gonna scrape out the rest. And I'm using a bundt pan that holds, I think, about 10 to 12 cups. It's just a normal bundt pan size. Alright, I'm going to get that all in there and then we're just going to stick it in the oven. I just put in our bundt cake. I put it in the oven. It's at 350 again. It will probably cook in about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Just keep checking it and you can just do the toothpick test like you would brownies or any other cake mix. So for our glaze, it's super simple. You're just gonna have a stick of butter. You're just gonna put it in a saucepan, put it on probably medium to start with. You wanna bring it to a low boil and then you just wanna turn it off so it can thicken up a little bit. You're gonna do half a cup of orange juice. You can go ahead and pour that in there. And then you're gonna do a cup of sugar. So you're just gonna let that sit. You're gonna let that butter melt and just bring it to a low boil. I'm gonna take it a little bit of a step further. I really like the taste and flavor of oranges. This is a very orangey cake. You can do lemon, you can do, I've heard of somebody doing a grapefruit cake. You can do any type of fruit. I really like orange. We're gonna stick with orange today. But I'm also gonna zest a little bit into our glaze so it kind of has that natural flavor with it along with all that sugar that we're consuming today. So I'm just gonna use a good old cheese grater. I'm gonna find the side that actually grates it. There we go. That was right. I'm just gonna zest a little bit, not too much. There we go. Now we are cooking. Alright. Just to give it that fresh flavor. Again, we're just gonna let that sit on medium heat. We're gonna let that butter melt, bring it to a low boil, and then turn it off. And then that's what we're gonna throw in our cake right when it comes out of the oven, and then we're gonna have to let it sit for 30 minutes, which I think is maybe the hardest part of today's recipe. Because everybody knows you just wanna cut right in. So I know you're not supposed to open up an oven that's baking or a crock pot that's cooking because you let all the heat out. But I don't care because I'm an adult and I can do what I want. So I do it regularly and frequently. I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna check how my little bun's doing. And she is doing well. Should be done in 10 minutes or less. Can't wait. Our bundt cake is finally out of the oven. It took about 40 minutes. I think max 45 minutes. Since we are gonna leave it for about 30 minutes to rest, you don't want the inside to be too cooked through because it will continue to heat up. So what we're gonna do now, she's very pretty, but we're gonna keep adding just layers to her because every girl likes to accessorize, am I right? So we're gonna add some of our glaze, and by some I mean all of our glaze on top. You can just pour that baby on or you can gently spoon it. Everybody likes to be gently spooned. So. And again, after we put this glaze on, we're just gonna leave her for 30 minutes, which I know is hard. It's very hard for me too. So this glaze will harden and almost turn into like an orange icing on top. And it'll soak through too, so this cake will not be dry. So there we go. This is our bundt cake. This is our orange juice cake, and it's really good because y'all know I can't wait. I've already tried it before we even filmed it, but I'll try it again. It's super delicious. I did do a little bit of powdered sugar on top with some more orange zest, just for looks. Also, it's more sugar, you can't go wrong. That was like, I'm not lying, that's one of the best cakes we've ever had. So, hopefully you can make it and just enjoy it with your family. Or just by yourself. In the bathroom. In the tub. You can eat cake anywhere. Doesn't matter. Nobody's judging. I'm not judging. Thanks, everybody. Is that okay?
Sweet. Yeah, baby. I'm gonna stop the video. We're officially done, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
Come feed me some more of that.
Oh my god.
They're like, where's that?
Where's that?